Hello there, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Kit Kat, and today we are actually building a lot that is not on the 100 Tiny Build list. It is one inspired by Spanish Revival architecture, and let me tell you why. It's kind of a funny story. So last weekend I was watching Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Is my first time watching it, and it inspired me to want to build weirdly in the Spanish Revival style. I was just sitting here watching it. It's like, you know what would be really cool? To build something Spanish inspired in The Sims. So I got on Google and looked at a few inspiration pics. I'll show one momentarily, the one that I kind of use the most for the exterior layout. I do have it on Tiny Home Residential, but it's not specifically, there is the lot. That's it. That's the one I found on Google. And the roof line is kind of asymmetrical on the left side if you're looking from the front, and I thought that was really cool, so that's why I went with that picture. But I do put on the tiny home lot trait just to keep an eye on the tile count. I didn't want it to be too big, so that's why I do switch it back to because we're not really interested in this being specifically a tiny home. But yeah, so the layout is based on that picture a little bit, but the inside isn't huge. It is not a starter home, unlike most of the other builds that I've posted so far on this channel. It's in that 60,000 simoleon range, which is kind of a lot for a 2-bedroom home, but the Revival mission style architecture pieces, like the windows, those are a little bit more expensive anyway, so I went with that just because I liked them and it fit the style. So it's not a starter home. It is, however, a base game only build, so if you only have the base game, you can use this lot. It's on the gallery in 2 ways. One with some gallery art that I found, and it flags it as custom content, so I do have an uploaded version that does not have the gallery art, just so that it gets away from that being tagged with that custom content, because some of the gallery art gets flagged as custom content and some doesn't, and it's frustrating to know which ones won't. I know there's a specific user, and I thought it was the one that I looked at, but I don't think it was. So there are 2 versions of this lot. Now I'm just trying to lay out like the windows and the doors. We have a little kind of outdoor courtyard in the back that, if it was like an actual tiny home, wouldn't be counted because there's no floor tiles, but it was really just a way to like keep it kind of open. And if you do want to take advantage of the it'd be a small home lot trait, I think the main one there is just that Sims are always happy. So if you do want to take advantage of that, you totally can, but it's not specifically meant to be a small home. So here, just kind of laying out the windows. I do adjust those windows on the back on the right there, because that ends up being the kitchen, and nothing is worse than having your appliances visible, or the back of your appliances visible through the kitchen. At least when you're building. When you're playing, it's probably not as big of a deal because you're not as concerned about that. So now I'm just gonna try to do the floor plan. So the right side of the house ends up being the bedrooms and bathroom, and the left side of house is like the living space and the kitchen. The bathroom isn't huge, it's just a shower, a toilet, and a sink. So no tub, but you could always adjust it if you really wanted to have a bathtub in there. It's definitely possible. It did take me quite a while to settle on the wallpaper that I go with in the end, as well as the floor. I started out with some hardwood floors and then I switch it to that terracotta tile because I think it matches the style a little bit better. But it took me some time to go to that. Probably these cabinets and the kitchen appliances are the main reason that this is not a tiny home. I think I used the second most expensive kitchen appliances in base game, just because it looks the nicest and they're the ones that I like a lot anyway. So the weird thing about that double bed that I placed there, right now I'm just kind of placing bedroom furniture to get the layout, make sure that I don't want to move any walls around. But that bed, not a lot of the end tables match. I think I end up using like the most expensive or second most expensive end table in the main bedroom. Yeah, it's the second most expensive. No big deal. Or no, that is the most expensive one, but it still doesn't really match super well. The coloring's a little bit off, but I go with it because honestly it's the closest that we have. And I do end up changing the bed in the kids' room. The kids' room is kind of like not super matching the rest of the vibe of the house, but I like the way it turns out kind of on its own. So maybe they let the child, have a little bit more say over what kind of a room style they had. We'll go with that. We'll say that's what happened. I'm just laying out some of the terracotta tiles. I changed the outside of wallpaper again because of the terracotta tiles that I placed. It didn't match the trim that I'd used. Also, in game, this build looks a lot more like a stark white stone than it does in build mode. It just depends on the lighting, and honestly the lighting in this world and on this lot, not really the best in my opinion. Although you can see that dinosaur in the background, it's hilarious. I use that like I think it's in like the wall hanging category, or where you click on the little like flower box, and I use that on the back. It might look a little strange, I don't know. If you don't like it, you can always remove it, but I thought it looked kind of cool. And I go ahead and start off by laying out some of the landscaping, it's pretty minimal landscaping, not really normal for me, but and we also have a pool, which makes this build a little bit more expensive than the rest of my builds so far on this channel. I don't put a lot of pools in base game homes because they're too expensive. But yeah, I like this house because it's got that terrain manipulation that I've been trying to play with a little bit more on these builds on the channel. And then since it's base game only, it's really accessible. So I like that it is usable to lots of different players. Here I am going to change the floor tile in the kitchen. I do just go with the terracotta tiles, the more plain ones in the rest of the house. And then again, I'm using that wallpaper that I constantly use, but I think with the orange and the blue and then pulling it in with the floor tile, it looks really nice. It works well. I'm about to delete that window so that I can make the counter space a little bit bigger and put the stove right there so that it looks a little bit more cohesive. And there we go. This is, well, almost the second most expensive fridge and stove in the game. There is one that's like locked that we don't use. And there's no indoor trash can, just that one outside that I thought fit the aesthetic a little bit better. And the house is really starting to come together. The little breakfast table in the kitchen there is just 2 chairs, but there is a slightly bigger outdoor seating area that would be good for this world because, you know, it's pretty warm here most of the time. So it does kind of match. It took me a weird amount of time to figure out the wall sconce situation because it still felt a little bit too dark in here. I don't end up going with these because the more I looked at them, the less I liked them in this space. So I do change it for like that rectangular wall sconce eventually. Here we go. Here's where we settle on it. And I changed the swatch. I tried to go with that 2-toned one, but it looked weird. So I went with the plain white one. Just throwing the bathroom together pretty quickly. I like to tuck the showers into the wall a little bit more because I think it takes up less space, but then it looks like the wallpaper in the bathroom is like intentionally tile so that, like, you know, you don't have like paint in the shower. So I do like to kind of tuck it in there, and it kind of hides a little bit more of a modern look if you're not going for that. Here I'm just trying to throw down some different rugs that make sense. The square one I really like that I initially put in there, but it just was too big and the shape was kind of awkward. The kids' room really gave me a lot of trouble to furnish because I didn't feel it looked like a very good kids' room, and maybe I should have just like left it as a guest room or something. But I kind of wanted it to be more of a family home, so that if you do have base game and you want to play in this style, it's available, although you can always change it to be a guest room, I guess. Not that currently we have the ability to have Sims like stay over, but soon it seems like your parents or the grandparents will be able to move in with the new Generations pack, which I'm very excited about. Or gather together, or grow together. Gather together sounds like Thanksgiving. Grow together. The color scheme in the living room ends up being this blue and purple tones. I do switch out the bigger sofa for 2 armchairs and a little coffee table. And I kind of end up making a little bit of a custom couch with those because I put the coffee table right in the middle of the 2 chairs. And it looks like it's all one piece, which I like a lot. And I just couldn't figure out if I wanted another love seat. That's why I go with the chairs. And it adds a little bit of extra contrast as well with the cream beige colored seats there. Just a lamp in the corner, I add a bookshelf in there and paint the walls. And since I'm not concerned about budget in this build, I do clutter it a bit more than normal in some previous builds. In a lot of the builds on my channel, they tend to be those starter homes, and so I can't put clutter in, I can't put this and that. But not worrying about budget really helps. So I really like this this build. So if you do, please, you can follow me on the EA gallery. My ID is in the description below, and it's KitKatGinger12. And if you like the build, please let me know. Again, just putting in some little planties and cluttering it up that way a little bit. I end up picking this particular bookcase and then cluttering up a bit more so that it looks kind of more different and custom than just straight in from the build catalog. Yeah, just adding a couple extra pieces to make it look more filled in and more cluttered. And like I said, I do end up getting some artwork off the gallery and removing it as well, just so that there are two different versions if you turn on custom content. But I know that console players can't turn on custom content, so that way you can still see the build and it's still accessible to you. Here's where I start putting up some artwork to fill in the walls a little bit more. And I cut out a lot of me looking through the gallery just because it took me a while. So I found a couple of different art prints that I decided to use. The ones I went with were kind of more European style, or I tried looking in the gallery for like Spanish, just typed Spain or Spanish, and some stuff came up, not a ton, but I liked that the art that I did choose looked more like snapshots as you might take on a trip to Europe, or just like it could be stock art that you found in your home, found that you liked and wanted to use in your home. So yeah, there are two versions. I like them both. I didn't replace the the gallery art that I used in the other build, so you can fill that in if you'd like. It makes it a little cheaper too, not by a lot though, because the gallery art tends to be pretty inexpensive, which is also a good way to fill out a budget build. So here is the kids' bedroom, or the extra bedroom, coming together. It is furnished as a kids' bedroom, and it has a computer as well. I feel like that ends up happening a lot in the kids' builds that I do, that they end up being the room that has the computer, just because of the way the main bedroom is laid out. There's not as much space with that double bed in there, so a lot of times it has the computer, which is honestly really lucky. So maybe the parents just had it in there initially and then put the kid in there. Who knows? But yeah, this room is a lot brighter than the rest of the house. Not that it's dark, it's just more traditionally styled. So, but I do like it. You know, you can always change it up if you don't. And we are getting close to being done with the actual build. Not a ton of landscaping that I do outside. This last little bit that I furnish will be the outdoor courtyard, and then we'll do the landscaping. And yeah, we're getting close to being done. I just throw some posters on the wall to fill it in and make it seem more like a kid's room. But they definitely have made their own. And I'm really proud of this build. Like I said, it came about because of watching Puss in Boots' Last Wish. I recommend it if you're wanting to watch something that's fun and cute. I highly recommend. And just throwing in some last bit of clutter before moving to the outdoor courtyard. And I think this home looks really nice. I hope that you enjoy it. Again, you can download it from the gallery with or without the gallery art. And yeah, if you enjoyed watching this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, tell me, do you like doing base game builds? Do you like the base game items? I think that they have come a long way in the past past year or so with updated swatches and things like that. But yeah, what's your favorite world to build in? Mine depends on my mood. This build also has a toilet roll, unlike some of the other ones. So you know, you can take care of that if you need to. But again, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe so you don't miss any for future updates. I'm trying again to update once a week every Sunday. And if you want to hang out more, I stream 4 times a week on Twitch. You can find me by clicking that link in the description below. Thanks again for watching, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye!